In the glamorous and ruthless world of the fashion industry, Summer Newman is about to face an unprecedented career storm in her life. Everything is falling into chaos when an emergency event puts her career on the brink of the abyss, threatening not only her own job but also the career and future of Marchetti, one of the famous fashion brands she is running. But can she face this challenge on her own, or will she have to ask for help from her powerful mother, Phyllis Summers? Summer Newman, the new female director, and her first crisis as a promising young person who is expected to lead Marchetti to new heights. Summer Newman is not lacking in confidence. However, her career suddenly encounters a major obstacle, causing all the achievements she has built to suddenly become a house of sand that can be easily washed away by the big waves of the fashion industry. The trouble began when Chelsea, Marchetti's creative director, decided to leave the company. The decision was not only a shock to Summer but also a huge blow to the entire Marchetti team. Chelsea had been a longtime partner and the brains behind the striking designs that the company prided itself on. Her departure left a huge void that Summer could not easily fill. Things came to a head when Summer realized that she could not run the company without Chelsea. Not long after Chelsea announced her decision to leave Marchetti, Summer began to feel the company she had worked so hard to build crumbling. Insecurities began to spread within her, causing the ruthless leader she had tried so hard to hide to emerge. Every decision became hasty and thoughtless, creating a crisis within the entire team. Chelsea's loss is not only a personnel issue, but also a problem with Marchetti's image and reputation in the fashion industry, an industry where a small mistake can cause an entire empire to collapse. Phyllis Summers. The powerful mother and the opportunity from the past. Phyllis Summers, Summer's mother, a powerful and cunning woman, is waiting for this opportunity to make a glorious comeback at Marchetti. After a long absence, Phyllis realizes that this is the golden time for her to return, not only to save her daughter's career but also to rebuild her position in the fashion industry. Knowing that her daughter is on the verge of collapse, Phyllis cannot sit still. She begins to plan to enter Summer's life and rebuild Marchetti. But more than just a concerned mother, Phyllis also sees a golden opportunity in this crisis, a chance for her to reassert her role in the fashion industry she has always loved. It is certain that when Phyllis re-enters Summer's life, her appearance will bring many big changes. With extensive experience in managing and running a company, Phyllis will certainly be the savior that Summer needs. However, the relationship between mother and daughter is not always smooth. Summer has grown up and is no longer the naive girl Phyllis once raised. She has her own thoughts on how to run the company and does not easily accept her mother's interference. Meanwhile, Chelsea's resignation also complicates things. Chelsea is not only a creative director, but also an indispensable part of Summer's team. Her departure not only disrupts work but also creates a creative void. Summer realizes that she cannot keep the company on its feet without timely support. Then, a strategic opportunity arises when Phyllis offers an unexpected solution. Phyllis and Adam, a crafty alliance. While Summer is struggling with the stress and anxiety of losing her creative director, Phyllis is also looking for other opportunities to enrich her brand. She realizes that Adam Newman, who always has bold plans, could be an ideal partner to solve the current situation. Phyllis understands that, if she cooperates with Adam, she can create a new wave for Marchetti, not only restoring its reputation but also promoting the company to develop stronger than ever. Adam, who is ambitious and not afraid to face big challenges, also sees opportunity in this crisis. He knew that working with Phyllis would be a matter of power and profit. However, it would not be without its dangers. Adam was unpredictable and working with him could have unforeseen consequences. In the end, Summer will have to learn to face big challenges and accept help from her sometimes unapproachable mother. Phyllis's arrival is not only a lifeline for the company, but also a turning point in Summer's career. However, this does not mean that everything will be easy. Their relationship will continue to be tense and complicated, as neither of them will easily accept interference in their work. With Phyllis's support and a new strategy with Adam, will Summer be able to overcome this career crisis and keep Marchetti? Or will she have to accept defeat, leaving this power play in the hands of others? The answer will come from Summer's own courage and determination in rebuilding her fashion empire. New beginnings and bold moves. Summer is approaching, and the atmosphere in the fashion world in Genoa City is more tense than ever. One of the biggest career crises in recent memory threatens the stability of Marchetti, and in the midst of the turmoil, Phyllis Summers, the cunning and ambitious mother, is once again facing the opportunity to re-emerge and assert herself. But before Phyllis can seize the opportunity, a bold move from Chelsea Lawson, Marchetti's creative director, could change everything. Chelsea, a decisive move and a change of position. Chelsea Lawson, an undeniable talent in the fashion industry, has decided to make a bold move in her career. No longer content with just being creative director at Marchetti, Chelsea decides to leave the company to seek opportunities at Newman Media. This was a shocking decision, not only for Summer Newman but also for the fashion world that was watching Marchetti's transformation. What was behind Chelsea's decision? Was it a result of fatigue with the working environment at Marchetti, or was it a strategic plan to find a position of greater influence in the industry? Chelsea felt disrespected at Marchetti and decided to seek a place where she could fully develop her creative potential. Chelsea's departure created a huge void at Marchetti, and this was the factor that pushed Summer into a crisis situation she never expected. Without a talented creative director like Chelsea, Summer's company began to face weakness. This was when Phyllis Summers, the powerful and always looking for opportunities, began to see the possibility of her return. Phyllis Summers. The salvation move and the triumphant comeback. Phyllis Summers is not a woman who accepts defeat easily. After being fired from Abbott Communications for her obsession with interfering in her son Daniel's life, Phyllis refuses to accept defeat. Despite being rejected and failing many times, she always finds a way to stand up and prove that she can still succeed. With her experience in running Marchetti, Phyllis realizes that this is the ideal time to come back and regain the position she lost. Phyllis understands that there is only one chance to save the situation at Marchetti and strengthen her daughter's reputation. She not only wants to help Summer overcome this career crisis, but also wants to take advantage of the opportunity to prove that she can do better than what she did before. Phyllis may never give up, and when she realizes that she is the only one who can save Marchetti, she is willing to do anything to seize this opportunity. Daniel and Phyllis. A complicated relationship and feelings of rejection. However, not everything will go smoothly for Phyllis. While she is planning to save Summer's company, her son Daniel is still in a personal crisis. Phyllis tries to help Daniel find his way forward in life, but the truth is that he does not want his mother to interfere. Phyllis and Daniel's complicated relationship continues to create turmoil in her life, and this may make Phyllis hesitate between worrying about her daughter's career or saving her son's situation. Daniel does not want his mother to interfere in his personal life and career. His complacency, combined with her mother's obsession, makes Phyllis aware that things don't always go according to plan. However, Phyllis doesn't give up. She believes that if she helps Summer one more time, she can prove to Daniel that she has his best interests at heart. Billy Abbott. Phyllis's blocker at Abbott Communications. While Phyllis is looking for opportunities at Marchetti, another major blocker comes from Billy Abbott. Billy, who has been at odds with Phyllis in the past, may be the one to push her out of Abbott Communications. Billy can't stand Phyllis's obsession with forcing Daniel to do anything and decides that Phyllis is no longer fit to continue working at Abbott Communications. This leaves Phyllis with another setback in her career, but also a motivation for her to never give up. Phyllis returns to Marchetti, opportunities and challenges. When things get tough at Abbott Communications, Phyllis decides to return to Marchetti, where she has been a long-time employee. Despite being laid off, Phyllis knows the company better than anyone and believes she can start over. She will not only help Summer through her career crisis, but also help the company regain its lost position. When Summer sees Phyllis's perseverance and determination, she begins to realize that her mother may be the only person capable of helping her through this crisis. Summer will be impressed by Phyllis's presence and will not hesitate to ask her to return as Marchetti's creative director. This is an opportunity that cannot be missed for both mother and daughter, as Phyllis can utilize her abilities and experience to take Marchetti to the next level. While Summer and Phyllis's relationship may not be ideal, the mother-daughter partnership could spell major change in the fashion industry. Will Phyllis find a new, rewarding career at Marchetti, or will she face another setback in her life? Time will tell. Conclusion: a dramatic comeback. Phyllis Summers has always been one to not back down from a challenge. With a plan to save Summers' career and a chance to reinvent herself, she will face many hardships and obstacles. However, with Phyllis's help, Summer will be able to overcome her career crisis and return Marchetti to glory. The mother-daughter relationship will continue to be complicated, but once again, Phyllis will prove that nothing is impossible if she sets her mind to it. Summer and Phyllis's relationship, a fashion revolution and a stormy plot in Genoa City, one of the biggest fashion brands, Marchetti, is facing an unprecedented challenge. Chelsea, Marchetti's creative director, suddenly decides to leave the company in a shocking situation. This decision not only throws the entire company into chaos, but also pushes Summer Newman, the head of this fashion brand, into a career crisis she never imagined. Fashion crisis, the upcoming collection and Summer's nightmare. When the news of Chelsea leaving Marchetti was announced, Summer Newman immediately faced an urgent situation. The new collection, one of Marchetti's key products, was about to launch, and the lack of a talented creative director like Chelsea created a huge hole. Summer's nightmare becomes a reality when she realizes that not only is there a lack of creative leadership, but all her plans and strategies for the upcoming collection are disrupted. Time is running out, and with the pressure mounting, she cannot face this challenge alone. Meanwhile, other departments of the company are working tirelessly to prepare for this important event. The lower-level employees begin to feel anxious about the future of the company as everything becomes uncertain. There is no clear direction and everything seems to be drifting towards an inevitable collapse. Summer feels increasingly tired and confused, as she realizes that not only the collection, but also Marchetti's reputation is in serious danger. Phyllis and the creative ideas, salvation from mother. But like a miracle, the appearance of Phyllis Summers, Summer's mother, brings a new ray of hope. Phyllis, who had been absent from Marchetti for a long time after being fired, did not hesitate to step into her daughter's life to help her solve this crisis. She came not as a mother, but as a woman with cunning and creative ideas, ready to save the collection and Marchetti's reputation. With her extensive experience in the fashion industry and her ability to run a company, Phyllis immediately began to propose creative solutions and new strategies to save the collection. Although Summer was initially uncomfortable and reluctant to accept her mother's help, she quickly realized that Phyllis was the only one who could solve the current situation. After some thought, Summer finally accepted Phyllis's offer and invited her mother to join the executive team. And so, Phyllis is back in a position of influence at Marchetti, as the de facto creative director who will bring about the necessary innovation to save the company. But that doesn't mean it will be easy. Summer and Phyllis's mother-daughter relationship has always been a tumultuous one, and this partnership isn't an easy one. Summer has always felt that her mother can't keep things in line, and she sometimes feels that Phyllis is too involved in her work. However, she also knows that without Phyllis's support now, Marchetti won't be able to weather the current storm. Chelsea creates new rival, Newman Media, and the new transformation. While Phyllis is helping Summer turn the company around, a new and unexpected element enters the picture. Chelsea, who Summer still considers an important business partner, is not only leaving Marchetti but may also join their biggest rival, Newman Media. This decision creates a dilemma for Summer and Phyllis. Chelsea, with her talent and influence in the fashion industry, may become a formidable rival when she joins Newman Media, where Adam Newman is at the helm. This not only increases the level of competition in the fashion industry but may also cause Summer to face new challenges, especially since Chelsea brings with her secrets and plans. Summer understands that Chelsea's presence at Newman Media may bring many problems for Marchetti. However, she also realizes that if she wants to protect the company, she needs to work with her mother to help Marchetti through this difficult period. But internally, Summer can't help but feel frustrated seeing her mother once again entering her professional life, even though Phyllis is only trying to help. Mother-son relationship, bringing them closer or pushing them apart. When Phyllis and Summer team up, the biggest question is not whether Marchetti will survive the crisis, but how their relationship will develop. Over the years, Phyllis and Summer's relationship has been close at times, but also tense and conflicted at times. Phyllis's interference in Summer's work, especially when they both run a large company like Marchetti's, has not always been smooth sailing. Will this partnership bring Summer and Phyllis closer together, helping them build a stronger bond, or will it push them further apart, making their conflict irreparable? Only time will tell, but it is certain that the change in their relationship will have a profound impact on both Marchetti and the other characters in the story. Conclusion: big changes and important decisions in the end. The Marchetti crisis is not only a professional challenge for Summer, but also an important lesson about cooperation and family love. Phyllis's return to help Summer is an important milestone in this story. But like every time before, the decisions of mother and daughter will never be easy, and this change will certainly lead to new power struggles in the fashion industry. Will Phyllis and Summer be able to overcome this challenge and return Marchetti to glory, or will they face new defeats in this fierce power struggle? All these questions can only be answered in the next episodes of this dramatic story.